This is One on One. We are pleased to be joined by our good friend Jeff Petroski, President and CEO of Brook Limosine. Good to see you, Jeff.
It's nice to be here, Steve. Thank you.
You and I have, by the way, Brook takes care of us and a lot of our guests, and you and I having a conversation recently about your industry, excuse my voice, and how much things have been changing. And one of the things you told me about was this global service. Now, we'll talk about how challenging it is, the transportation industry in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area in a minute, but talk about the global service. What's that all about?
Well, we're rolling out a network of providers. They're all individual providers that we are teaming up with around the globe, and we're setting up a website. So we set up a website, and the website automatically distributes these reservations to these providers. And all these providers are vetted. We know the companies. They're all the top companies in their markets.
So I'm going to go to Paris.
We know that,
I'm going to go to Paris. We had this conversation over lunch one day. You said, Steve, you were in Paris. You didn't know who you were dealing with, right?
Right.
Hey, but I'm going to Paris. I go through Brook. What happens?
You go through Brook and you place the reservation just like you place a reservation to go from here to Manhattan. And I'll pick you up in Paris, and I'll take you where you need to go. And
because you have the relationship with the folks in Paris?
Right, yeah. We actually do Paris quite a bit now. And we have a good relationship with the company we use out there.
Why is that so important for people who are traveling abroad? They get there, they don't really know who they're dealing with.
Well, when you're traveling abroad, you don't know necessarily what the price should be, okay? And we're going to be giving you market prices. And we've done things before where we needed to bring some people from a ship to a hotel in Italy, and they were going to pay something like $60 a head to go on this 5-minute ride.
You could get the shaft.
We got them a van to take them from the ship to the hotel for less than $100 or something for the whole group. And that's the difference. That's
you could get taken advantage of.
Exactly.
You really could. And the other thing that's so interesting about that, to bring it back home, is you were also, when we were talking about this, you talked about being taken advantage of. Someone says, well, I want to use an online car service.
Yes.
You don't know the company, you go online, you could be taken advantage of, but also it's worse. Go ahead.
Well, there's right now there's online companies out there that they're actually, all they are is a referral service, and they even in their disclaimer when you go to log on to their site and everything, and you register as a user under their business, they say that they take no responsibility for the person you're getting in the car with, and one of these services. The driver,
like
anything.
we have whatever happens.
Right. I went on one of the sites last night, and in preparation for this show, and in order to become a driver for them, you need to have your own car, your own driver's license, and your own insurance. And in the state of New Jersey, you can get away with $10,000 in insurance. Whereas if you go with a reputable company, you're going to have millions of dollars of insurance behind you, protecting you in the event that something happens.
So who could that guy or that woman be behind the wheel?
They could be anybody. All they need is a driver's license.
That's it?
That's it.
So something happens. Who's responsible?
Well, that remains to be seen. There's been several incidents that people, you can read about it in the news, and it remains to be seen who's going to be held responsible. Ultimately, these referral services are saying that it's the driver is responsible. That all they're doing is referring the work. It's almost like file sharing was back in the 90s, where companies were trading digital files and stuff and saying,
for our audience, we just want to make sure you're not getting in a car with somebody you don't know and someone says, I'm not responsible. The other thing that I find fascinating is, in the New York, New Jersey market, right?
Yes.
One of the things that's fascinating is finding parking and dealing with traffic.
Yes.
You were saying more and more people live in New Jersey going into Manhattan for shows, whatever it is, dinner.
Yes.
are using car service because?
Oh, absolutely. Well, the cost is just getting outrageous. And I recently took a trip in to New York City with my family, and I like to drive when we're going out with the children and stuff. And we went to the Javits Center to the car show. And
That's way over on the west side.
Yeah, all the way over on the west side. And it took us probably at least a half an hour to find parking. And then it took us a half hour just to get into the parking lot. And then we were 2 blocks away and it started to rain. So now we got to walk 2 blocks to the Javits Center. And the parking, the cost of the parking, I have an SUV, so it was $57 to park my SUV. It's $13 to come over the bridge just to get into New York City. And after the car show, we wanted to go out to eat, but we waited till we got back to New Jersey because we didn't want to go through and pay for parking once again and everything else.
Do the math.
Yeah,
Adds up.
exactly, it does. And the convenience and everything else, I mean, you know, to come out of a show or something and have your driver be right there in front. You don't have to go, if you've ever waited for your car in the theater district after the show's let out, you know, you could wait an hour for your car, you know. And it's so much nicer to have your car be sitting right there.
And by the way, we should make it clear that Jeff's dad, Don Petroski, started the business 40 years ago, and we miss your dad, and he
we
was
sure
a
do.
great friend to public broadcasting, and was a giant in this industry, and you guys are one of the top 10, you know, right, in the area?
Oh, sure.
In the country.
Sure.
And,
We
listen,
hope to be soon #1 in the world.
Yeah, well, listen, I want to thank you for coming on and talking to us about not only what's going on in this region in terms of transportation car service, but also around the globe as well.
Very
Appreciate
good.
it, Jeff. Good job.
Thank you, Steve.
Stay right there.
Okay.
One-on-one will continue right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Felician College, Health Republic, Insurance of New Jersey, Qualcare Inc., Johnson & Johnson, NJM, New Jersey Sharing Network, and by Choose New Jersey. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and NorthJersey.com. And by NJ Biz, all business, all New Jersey. Transportation provided by Brook Limosine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.